is time for our Weather Studio Live. It's Friday, it's 12:15. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you also to Rich, who's managed to put me in the ident at the beginning. Finally, it's only been many months. Yeah, but I am now well and truly part of the Weather Studio Live team, so that's great. Hello, I'm Alex Burkill, presenter and meteorologist here, and this week I'm joined by
Anna Criswick.
How lovely. It's a busy week. We have a change of weather. I always say it's a busy week, but it always is in the weather world usually.
We just don't stop.
And there are some interesting things coming next week, which we're going to be talking about in a second. You may have seen some pretty extreme temperatures mentioned in some headlines, so we'll be testing out or checking whether there's any truth to any of that. We do actually have a weather warning around at the moment, so we'll be talking about that in a second. But before we start, how are you, Anna? You sounded a little poorly. You sounded a little poorly in your deep dive the other day.
I did. A few people told me I needed to blow my nose, but I can't do that in the middle of a deep dive, I'm afraid. Yes, I was a bit poorly a week ago, and it's just lingered on. So I feel fine. I just sound a bit.
You just sound
groggy.
You sound worse than you feel, so that's good. But you've been up to things. You went up in was it a light plane that you went up in?
I did, yes. A couple of weeks ago in my leave, my uncle nicely invited me to take me up on not his plane, but he does have a license to fly planes.
It was just the two of you?
Yeah, it was just the two of us. It was quite a small plane. I think we went up to around 3,000 feet. Okay. We went to do a little bit of cloud spotting, but it was quite a hot day and there weren't many clouds.
So did you spot any?
We spotted a few kind of cumulus clouds around.
Yeah.
It was a little bit.
Oh, look, cumulus. Oh, cumulus. Oh, that's all we got.
You actually saw something.
No, there's no cloud in here.
No, only behind your head. So a big thank you to my uncle for taking me up and to do a bit of cloud spotting.
Good stuff. That sounds like really fun. Is he going to take the whole team up?
If you want to.
There we go.
There we go.
I look forward to it. I take that as a formal invite. I'm going to be joining him soon. And then you've been presenting this week. I went to a climate conference.
Yes, how was that?
It was really good, really interesting. I'm creating some content for it. Either the next or the following climate conversations will be about it. Though at Exeter Uni, jointly with the Met Office, we hosted a climate forum, and I went on the Wednesday, and the main topic was about communication. And it's something that actually I feel quite strongly about working in this field, because anytime we do anything climate related, it's difficult to get the story across. So I learned a few interesting things if you take home, some surprising things, and I think the biggest one that I took home was the idea that people understand the climate is changing and we're having an impact on it. The majority people are somewhat reluctant to make any drastic changes unless they can see another more immediate benefit. So if it saves them money, if they can see immediate health benefits, so cycling instead of driving, you can say straight up, you're going to get healthier, you're going to be fitter. And I think when they can see those immediate changes, then they're more likely to listen to the message. And also the one that we've been aware of for a while, trying to put a positive spin occasionally, because if it's all doom and gloom, people turn off because you don't want to hear it. So we will be putting out some content about that very soon. But we have a couple of questions coming in, a few questions.
Keep your questions coming.
A few questions have been sent in already today, and a few questions were sent in last week, and also from your deep dive. So one of the questions from your deep dive from Node P5P, when is the average hottest part of the year they've asked for Southwest England, but it's up to you if you want to be that specific, as they'd love to know.
Across the UK, it's July, isn't it? It's normally around July, that's the...
Yeah.
Just double checking. July tends to be the warmest time of the year, because, well, I suppose, are we in the middle of meteorological summer?
We're pretty much in the middle.
Yeah.
It's obviously the solstice. We have the longest days, but there's this hang back. We see it on a daily basis when you have your minimum temperature a little bit after sunrise. Yeah. And it's the same with the summer, and also your maximum temperature at this time of year. It's usually around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not at 12 o'clock. That's when the sun's at its strongest. Yeah. But that's not when things get hottest. And so because you have all this heating going through, mid to late spring and then early summer, and then it gets stronger and stronger until we get to the solstice. But even after the solstice, it's still hotter, and the the underlying, the baseline heat at that point is higher than it was earlier on in the season. So that's why we see our highest temperatures, as we go through July and August. So we're now in the hottest time of the year, really.
Yeah.
And that's going to play a part in how hot it could get next
It is.
week.
Well, we've already had our warmest day of the year so far, haven't we? So temperatures are on the up.
I mean, every year we'll have already had our hottest day of the year so far.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, this year we've also had our warmest day of the year.
We've already had a couple of heat waves.
I
think that's the take home, which we don't get them that often. Like, we have this heat wave definition, 3 days in a row, which is actually quite difficult to get, 3 days, consecutive days for a place to exceed its threshold, because it has to be the same place.
Yeah.
The fact that we've already had 2 is different, not that common. And I think
6 a.m. this morning, and it's valid all the way through until Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. So just constant rain pretty much is battering kind of western Scotland, which is why there's the rain warning in force. It's been quite wet here on average, so do take care if you're travelling out and about. It's likely this rain could cause a little bit of disruption. It creates difficult driving conditions as well, so do take care if you are in the warning area. And of course, stay updated, because these warnings do tend to change, particularly when they're out for a long period of time. Keep an eye on any updates on our website and also across our social media channels.
And aside from the warning area, most of us are going to see some wet weather this weekend, aren't we?
Yeah, a lot of us are going to see some wet weather. We can see this from the bigger picture. We have got a return of that westerly mobility. So we have actually got the Azores high stretching towards central and southern parts. That's giving us the settled conditions. It gave us the quite warm temperatures earlier in the week. But eventually we're going to start to see that decay, and we see low pressure become dominant. So by the time we get into Saturday, notice that this system becomes a bit more widespread across the UK. So more of us are going to see quite a lot of cloud, more of us that cloud and outbreaks of rain. It's also going to be feeling humid once again. I hope you can still hear me and still see me. We've just seen our screens go off, so hopefully we're still live.
I think it's fair to say we are having some technical issues. Lots of people commenting that we're having some buffering, and it's definitely frozen on the feed that I'm watching as well.
It's moving on mine, I can see in the corner of my eye.
We're coming back.
So as long as you can hear us.
Hopefully we're coming back. It seems that maybe the bugs have cleared themselves away. We've cooled things down. I don't know how. I'm sure they've pressed some button somehow.
This is live.
This is live.
What we
this is what we do. Yeah, smooth as always. Right, so for those of you who missed it, which is probably everyone,
I'll go through it again, shall I? So yes,
well, briefly.
There's a change on its way this weekend, is pretty much the story. Many of us are going to be waking up tomorrow, more cloud, outbreaks of rain, particularly in the west, and that humid, muggy feel is going to be in the air as well, so it's going to feel a little bit sticky as we head into Saturday. But yes, there are going to be some brighter spells across central areas and parts of the southeast, and possibly a little bit brighter on Sunday as well. It's turning a bit more showery, so there should be some brighter spells in between, but it's still going to feel a little bit muggy. It's probably going to turn a bit fresher through the course of the day, particularly across northern parts. So a change on its way this weekend.
Yeah, whilst we're talking about the weekend weather, Harry Jake has asked if we could look at the weather at Haywards Heath, which is in West Sussex, on Saturday. They're having a party at 1 p.m. So they're hoping to know what the weather's going to be doing, and I don't think they're going to be. I can never
work out how to do this.
If you click the UK at the top on the left,
it just goes off.
Then that one.
There we go. You'd think I'd got the hang of it by now, but I don't.
I always worry that Aidan watches these and cries.
I'm pretty sure he does. So
yeah, 1 p.m. Haywards Heath in West Sussex on Saturday.
Okay,
so
1 p.m. in West Sussex. I mean,
that's the noise, isn't it?
Yeah. It's going to be probably a bit grey, possibly a bit drizzly, quite breezy. It's going to feel quite muggy. It's hard to know what to wear in that kind of weather situation, because it's muggy, so you want to put a coat on, but then it's a bit too warm.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's just going to be a bit nuisance value in terms of the rain.
Yeah.
It's not going to be torrential, though worth bearing in mind the heavier rain over the channel which could come a bit further north.
Yeah, there's still a little tiny bit of uncertainty. This system could be slightly further north, slightly further south, but yeah, I would definitely make sure you're aware that there's going to be some rain around, so that might spoil your plans, but stick a coat on, it'll be fine. It makes the day more eventful, right? There's a little bit of rain.
Yeah.
Have a great time.
One other comment. Do you want to lower the screen today before we forget? Some people are saying it's too high for you.
Really?
How are you feeling?
I can touch the top.
Oh yeah, you can
I have
reach
very
the
long
top.
arms, so that helps.
There we go. Right, we mentioned it at the start. I don't know if the connection was there and you heard it, but a few people also commenting about the fact that there are some pretty high temperatures appearing in the forecast for next week.
Yes, that is right. In fact, you might have even seen that some of the headlines once again are suggesting that there is some extreme heat on the way. But what these headlines tend to do is that they tend to look at just one model run and they tend to look at the most extreme. And of course, here at the Met Office, we don't just look at one model, we look at multiple models and we run those models multiple times, always slightly changing the starting conditions to see the potential spread in the kind of weather that we can expect to see. So here's a good example from our European model, and if we take a look at the control member, I know it's probably a little bit small to see, but take a look at the kind of orange colours, that's where we could expect to see some heat. So yes, it is actually suggesting that we could potentially see some heat wave conditions on its way, this time not just across central areas, parts of the southeast, but this time actually a bit more widespread, so pushing up into the north, possibly even pushing up into Scotland. But then let me draw your attention to member number 5, and this actually shows no heat across the UK whatsoever. It shows it confined to continental Europe, and actually the UK in this setup will actually see cool temperatures, if not around about average for the time of year. So that means there's still a little bit of uncertainty as to how hot things are going to get into next week. Nevertheless, yes, there is a suggestion that temperatures will climb as we head further into next week. So at the moment, this is once again taken from our European model, we're going to see a dip in those temperatures over the weekend. That's all as a result of the unsettled weather. There's going to be more cloud around, a slightly different air mass, so things aren't going to get quite as warm. But as we progress further into the week, notice those temperatures start to climb. And if we get to Sunday the 13th, for example, this, which is what we call a box and whisker plot, it actually becomes a lot longer than the boxes previously in the week, and that just indicates that there's more spread in the models. So some of the models are actually suggesting that we could see temperatures in the mid-30s, but there's also other models that are suggesting actually temperatures could be in the mid to low 20s. So there's still a little bit of uncertainty as we head into next week. But earlier I got the chance to speak to one of our deputy chief meteorologists to find out what the latest is. So Stephen, are we going to see a repeat of the heat?
Well, it looks like through the second half of this coming week and into next weekend, temperatures are going to build once again, particularly across parts of the south and the east. It looks like typically hot summer weather looks quite likely, I would say, but there is the potential for something very hot to develop. Now, this has been shown in various model runs over the last sort of week or so, but there is a lot of uncertainty as to how hot it is because in those model runs there's a lot of variation. So a couple of things on screen here. So this is from the American model, GFS model. By next Friday, it's got some very hot air across parts of England and Wales. Should this come off, then we could be talking about temperatures widely at least as hot as it was a few days ago. However, European model on my middle screen here, a lot of variation between what we call these ensemble members. So some suggest something really quite hot, some really not that hot at all and actually potentially quite cool. And another way of displaying that is what we call these meteograms. So looking at London, for example, here, the middle value suggests around about 30, so typically hot. The upper end of this could be well into the 30s, so mid-30s at least. But the bottom end of this is around next weekend, could be low to mid-20s, so nothing particularly unusual at all. So a lot of uncertainty into the detail, but potential. I think the key is potential for some further hot weather to come.
So there we have it. We could see heatwave conditions as we head into next week, but at the moment it's not guaranteed.
But it does look likely it's going to turn warmer. Not guaranteed, but not exactly how hot it's going to get. Could it get that extremely hot? It's not out of the question. But yeah, if you like the heat, maybe lots of people are fed up with it by now.
I know, I don't know how I feel about it.
Some promising signs. Right, you've already covered the weekend. To some extent, but lots of sporting events happening this week.
Yes!
Speaking of sporting events, you may have noticed the thumbnail at the start. We took a little sporting theme because there's both Wimbledon happening at the moment, and also it's the British Grand Prix this weekend. Practice kicking off today, and then qualifying tomorrow and Sunday.
Yeah.
Previous viewers of the Weather Studio Live will well and truly know you're an expert when it comes to Formula One in particular, but
I never miss it, Alex.
yeah, but I am impressed with your outfit choice today. You are rocking the orange, the papaya. You are supporting McLaren, right?
McLaren, yeah, clearly.
Yeah, as was Skeets.
Definitely knew what that meant
Yeah.
when someone said it to me earlier.
As was the deputy chief earlier, who also wearing orange. But how's it looking? How's the weather looking for Wimbledon? How's the weather looking for the British Grand Prix?
Let us take a look. I've got to remember once again.
Same button as last time.
There we go. So it's on Sunday, isn't it, Alex?
The
race.
Do you want to do the British Grand Prix first? So there's
Yes.
qualifying tomorrow afternoon, and then the race is Sunday afternoon. Yeah,
Okay, let's look at Saturday afternoon to start off with. Oh, a bit further.
it's in Northamptonshire.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's... Okay. Oh, no. Oh, right. So that's around a bit out here. Sorry, I'm getting my counties confused. Yeah. So tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be quite cloudy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
There is that risk of drizzle, particularly in the west, but you might get a bit more of a chance of seeing those brighter spells because that's really going to be across central areas. This actually is indicating there's still going to be quite a lot of cloud around. It's kind of indicating some cloud breaks more towards kind of Yorkshire, but I think there's a chance tomorrow that you could see some breaks in the cloud as we head into the afternoon.
Yeah, and the rain was always uncertain, but it looks like it's changed a little bit from
Yeah, it
earlier
does
in the
look
week.
a little bit
looks
different.
less likely that we're going to see a bit of rain pushing through. Definitely not out of the question, but less likely.
Yeah, it looks more towards the kind of hills of Wales, so perhaps you'll just get that little bit more protection.
Yeah. Is there rain earlier on in the day though?
Let's have a look.
Yeah. Nearby anyway.
I'm stood right in the way, so you can't see. But yeah, it looks fairly similar. So I think there's probably a chance of some light rain drizzle. But
And I guess whilst we're on Saturday, Wimbledon is a similar-ish story, really.
yeah, what time is that? That's kind of through the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, once again across the southeast, there's more of a chance of seeing drier weather. But yeah, it's probably going to be quite cloudy, maybe a bit breezy as well. I know they've got to take that into account. It's one of the things I do know about sport. But yes, but it's probably, let's scoop over to Sunday afternoon, potential for some showers. So once again, cloudy, but yeah, there's still a risk of rain there with the showery outbreaks. Once again, Wimbledon looks like it might escape most of the showers, but still looks like it could be a little bit breezy once again. So cloudy probably both days for Silverstone. Risk of maybe some rain on Saturday, possibly showers on Sunday, and then Wimbledon looks mostly dry.
Yeah, mostly dry,
Yeah.
which is good news.
Yeah.
Good to get lots of play done. So that's
But it's going to be humid, isn't it? It's going to be quite humid on Saturday for the players, and then Sunday it's turning fresher through the day. So that's never fun to play in, is it? When it's quite muggy and sticky.
great.
Yeah.
Stu has asked, I'm off on holiday to Gibraltar on Monday. What's the weather looking like there?
Oh, Gibraltar!
Yeah, let's go global.
It's going to be hot. Let's see. If I go over here. Oh, I don't know what's best to turn on. I think it's what day did he say? Sorry.
I don't.
Over the weekend.
Monday.
Oh, Monday. I mean, it's certainly going to be dry. There's not really much precipitation. Once again, you've kind of got that intense heat, I suppose, once again. But Gibraltar, it should be a little bit cooler. You're slightly closer to the coast, aren't you? You're going to have probably a bit of a breeze around coastal areas, and just because I did the Gibraltar forecast earlier in the week, I think there is a chance of some low cloud during the early hours of the morning, but it's probably going to break up quite nicely, and then by the afternoon plenty of blue skies and things are going to warm up. But it's more towards kind of inland Spain where they're still seeing that quite intense heat. So if you go anywhere during your holiday that's a bit further inland, then things are going to get hotter, but across Gibraltar, a bit closer to the coast, you should get a bit more of a breeze, so things not getting quite as warm, but it is still going to be warm. I think temperatures were kind of around 28, 29 degrees Celsius for Gibraltar. So, yeah, It's probably going to be quite nice if you don't mind the warm weather. So.
Good. Couple of other points. Someone's asked if Formula One is actually a sport. Yes, yeah, it is. It's really interesting.
Is it?
It's really interesting.
Is it?
Then someone else has asked about the England-India test, which is at Edgbaston in Birmingham, which is going on, I think, at the moment. So that's, I mean, we've gone through it a lot in as much as today. It's fine, it's sunny. And then by...
It just goes on my mind.
Then, yeah, by the weekend, it's looking cloudier and there could be some rain at times. So, but it doesn't look especially heavy, and it shouldn't last particularly long after... Wait. That looked quite heavy.
I think it's more...
That was a delay.
It's going to be overnight, I think. We'll see the bulk of the rain, and then... Yeah, I think that Edgbaston's probably in a good position to get something a bit drier, but then just the risk of showers on Sunday. I probably just completely covered it up, so I do apologise about that. But yes, probably dry on Saturday, risk of showers on Sunday.
Okay, do you want to come back to the desk for the quiz, and I'll throw more questions about the weather at you after the quiz?
Sounds good.
So it's your favourite time of the week, it's quiz time, and we've already mentioned there's quite a lot of sport happening this weekend, and so it would be amiss of me not to have a sport theme to the quiz this week.
He's done it on purpose.
You're a sport expert, so I'm sure you will get 5 out of 5. Can I just point out, 2 weeks ago, I think I got 5 when Aidan posed his quiz.
What do you mean
me.
you think you got 5?
Well, it was out of 6 because there was a bonus mark for one question, and so it doesn't count as 5 out of 5 because it was out of 6. And there was a little bit of cheating involved. Not a lot. Aidan was throwing me the results of the polls in the chat before I'd had a time to answer. So he was telling me, like, oh, most people are saying this. And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds good then. Let's go with that one. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I've done that once or twice.
Let's go volcano if everyone's saying volcano. So exactly. So let's try not to look at the polls until you've given your answer.
Only you're allowed to do that. Is that what you're saying?
And I won't tell you them until I've had your answer in. But
okay.
Yes, good luck with this. You'll need it. So question 1. Which of these started first? A, the Tour de France, B, the British Grand Prix, we're talking motor racing, C, Wimbledon, tennis, and D, the first ever British radio weather report. So which came first? Do you want the questions again?
Yeah, can I have the options again?
So which was first? The first ever Tour de France, the first ever British Grand Prix, the first ever Wimbledon tennis tournament, or the first ever British radio weather report? I think it was the first ever radio weather report anywhere in the world, but I've thrown in British just in case.
That's a tough one. I don't think...
Yeah, explain your thinking. Go.
I don't know if I should.
Before you answer, actually...
I don't think it's motor racing.
Before you answer, I posed this question to the Chiefs this morning.
Oh, yeah.
And of the 3 of them that are around, 2 of them got it wrong, 1 of them got it right. So you know...
I'm tempted to go with weather report or Wimbledon.
It's one of the 4.
I don't know. I'm tempted to go with weather report, I think, on the radio. First weather report on the radio. Because surely they would have... I'm just trying to think, have they always had Wimbledon on the radio?
I wouldn't have thought so.
No?
Why would you need it on the radio?
I don't know.
Is it that fun to listen to on the radio?
Might be if you're a big... Well, that's... Oh, I don't know how far back we're talking. Is that the only option at one point? I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, okay. I'm going to go with the weather report, I think. Weather report.
Cool, let's look at the polls and see what other people have been saying.
Okay.
So 42% have said Wimbledon, but 42% have also said the weather report. So it's tied at the top for people thinking that. Barely anyone's gone for Tour de France or British Grand Prix. So that is good.
Just so you know, Aidan said no one has got a genuine 5 out of 5 until him last week.
Did he get 5 out of 5 last week?
I didn't watch it because I was ill.
I was at the dentist, but
so not confirmed. Not confirmed.
Okay. Anyway, Question 2 then. We're not confirmed because we chose not to watch.
In my view, it's not confirmed.
Poor Aidan sat there with his 5 out of 5, and we're like, nah, didn't count. We weren't around. Anyway, question 2. In the FIFA Club World Cup, that's football, which is going on at the moment, there have been some delays due to the weather because of thunderstorms. But currently, what is the longest length of delay due to a thunderstorm in this year's FIFA Club World Cup? Is it A, 30 minutes, B, 1 hour, C, 1.5 hours, or D, 2 hours?
Don't know. I feel like they like to get those things going again, so I'm tempted to go towards the lower end.
Okay.
Surely they're not going to defer it.
No, they wouldn't unnecessarily. They also don't want to risk people's lives.
Good point.
I can't remember what the length of delay was for the Cheltenham. Do you remember we?
Oh
discussed
yes,
it? I think that was
I know there was a
30
delay.
minutes, wasn't it? If there was lightning within 6 miles or something. But yeah, but remember this is the longest delay, and there've been several of them.
Oh, I don't know. I'm feeling the pressure now more because you've said that I'm not going to do very well on this quiz. Okay.
You can do it.
I'm tempted to go. Oh, I don't know. Now I feel like I've got to go towards the higher end. Yes.
It was between Benfica and Auckland City in Orlando.
That's not a clue.
Okay.
That means nothing to me. Okay,
soccer
I've
players.
changed my mind. I'm going to go higher.
Cool, I've got your answer. Let's see what people are saying at home. I think if you know, you'll know this one. So yeah, 43% have said 2 hours, 28% have said 1 hour 30, and then the few
Most people have gone higher.
Going higher. Yeah.
Well, if it was memorable, maybe it was higher.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it was in the news. So question 3. Which sport did the team Newcastle Thunder play?
Oh,
Do you see what I did? Because they're called Newcastle Thunder, which is a weather type.
Ooh.
So A, rugby league, B, baseball, C, basketball, or D, ultimate, as in ultimate frisbee.
I instantly thought basketball before you said. So that makes me think.
Like storm around the court.
Yeah, so I'm going to go for basketball. Cool. They normally have those cool team names.
I don't think you've even given people enough time. I don't think the poll even exists on the chat yet. You got in so quick with your answer.
There we go.
But Gordon said basketball. Liam has said baseball, I think. Or whichever one C was. Was C basketball or baseball? I can't remember. Ooh, I've lost my thing. I know they said basketball as well. So a few people saying basketball. Second is rugby league. So let's see at the end. Then the question 4 is the 2000. This is personal. The 2005 National Schools Regatta in Nottingham was cancelled.
Oh.
Now this robbed me of a chance at a medal. Because
oh no!
My crew that year, regatta is rowing, by the way.
Okay.
My crew that year, we had a good crew, and we were going to get a medal. I was pretty sure of it. But why was it cancelled? Because this is 2005 National Schools Regatta. You probably remember it well. Was it too hot, too cold, too windy, or too foggy?
What time of year was it?
It's in the summer.
Too hot, too cold.
So you're going to rule out too foggy there, aren't you? That evidence. And too cold.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have given you that.
Yeah,
clue.
I suppose it can't be too windy if you're.
Yeah, if it's too windy, it
too
causes
hot?
loads of problems.
It has to be quite hot, wouldn't it?
It would have to be quite hot, but we have had some pretty hot weather in summers.
Did we ever? Was there a heat wave in 2005? I'm going to go for the wind. Windy.
Cool. Good.
Although, no, actually, no, I'm not sure about that now.
I'd leave it.
Okay.
Yeah. Most people saying too windy as well. Yeah, the wind does play a big part in rowing. It's usually the thing that cancels events. Question 5. 2007 Formula One world champion Kimi Raikkonen has what nickname? A, Lightning, B, Iceman, C, Twister, or D, Rainmaker?
Okay. Is it relevant to something that he has done or said, or is it just totally random?
It is relevant to him as a character.
Okay.
So do you want the questions again? So
Yeah.
A, lightning, B, Iceman, C, Twister, or D, Rainmaker?
Is he nice, or is it you like a bit mean, bit icy?
He's Scandinavian. I think he's from Finland.
Oh, really?
He's from Finland, if that changes anything.
I have no idea. I'm going to go Iceman, because that sounds the coolest.
Cool.
I feel good about this.
You should feel good. You've done very well, actually.
Have I?
It's not 5. I'm not going to lie. You'll find that out after question 1. But I can't see. Oh, most people are getting the Kimi Räikkönen question right because he is very, very famous. So should we go through the
heard of him.
answers? He is 2007 Formula 1 World Champion.
Okay.
Right, so question 1, I asked which of these started first? The Tour de France, the British Grand Prix, Wimbledon, or the first ever British radio weather report? You said D, weather report.
Yeah.
They were all quite close, but no, Wimbledon was first.
That was going to be my. That was what came first into my head.
The first ever Wimbledon tournament was in 1877, and it was actually delayed by 3 days due to the rain.
Oh.
So it got off to a good start.
Yeah.
But obviously, then it's kept going. Tour de France started in 1903. The British Grand Prix, the first one, was in 1926. And the first ever radio weather report was in 1922.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't until like the 20s when commercial radio became a thing.
Okay.
So question 2. In the FIFA Club World Cup, there have been some delays due to thunderstorm sports, the longest one so far this year. You said...
I went for 2 hours.
2 hours was right.
Really?
Yeah,
it was 2 hours?
Yeah, which is a long delay to get in the way. And I think it's caused some question marks as to the timing of the matches, because is it a good idea to have them afternoon, evening, when that's more likely at this time of year? So trying to stop it, but I'm sure they're learning, which is good. Then question 3, what sport do the team Newcastle Thunder play? Rugby league, baseball, basketball, or ultimate frisbee? You said...
I said basketball. I thought it straight
it's
away.
Rugby league.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I had that one.
Yeah, no, rugby league.
Oh, okay. Oh, that does make sense, because I
yeah,
guess if they're running, it sounds like thunder.
Sure.
No?
Yeah,
I
rugby league. Lots of rugby league have like fun names like that.
Oh,
so,
do they?
Yeah.
Damn. Oh, well.
But well done for those of you who did get that right. Lots of people did. Then question 4, the 2005 National Schools Regatta in Nottingham was cancelled due to,
I put wind.
Yeah, it was the wind. It was really wet, it was really windy, it was really choppy. We did go out for a little bit, and we had our first race, which I think we came second out of everyone in that first race, which is why I think we would have got a medal in the finals if it hadn't been cancelled.
Oh, by the weather, how ironic.
Yeah, it was partly my rowing at school that led me to my passion for the weather.
Oh, really?
Yeah, partly.
Oh.
Then question 5, 2007 Formula 1 World Champion Kimi Räikkönen has the nickname, and you put...
I put Iceman.
Yeah, that's
Is that right?
It is Iceman. It's because he's a very cool, calm, collected character. He famously, whilst there was a delay in a race because of heavy rain, other people were, warming up, practicing, going through things with their physio and strategy. He was sat there having a chalk ice.
Ah, my kind of man.
My kind of man too. So he's a cool, calm, collected character. And yeah, he is the Iceman. So well done, you got 3.
I got 3. You said I was going to get 0.
I didn't say you were going to get 0. I said
Basically did.
You were likely to get 0. So
I'm happy with 3.
So Wild Violet Edition said 4 out of 5. Martin Bain said 3 out of 5. DHLUFC did their best ever, 4 out of 5. Lots of people getting 4 out of 5. I haven't seen... Oh, Bruce Duthie, so apologies, I've said your name wrong. Got 5 out of 5, so big well done. I hope you enjoyed the quiz at home. More questions though. Lots of questions have been coming in during the Weather Studio Live, and there was one that I wanted to throw at you, but I can't remember what it was.
Just so you know, it has been confirmed. Aidan did get 6 last week. Alex Deacon has confirmed. I was just in denial. Oh no, Aidan got 6.
Cool. So we actually had a question earlier on from from Mikey saying climate change shows that our temperatures are rising, that things are getting warmer. So what's the reason behind the hottest year ever in the UK being 1976? It wasn't. So the hottest year ever was 2022, and that was and 1976 I think is the second warmest year on record. I'm trying to remember. So yeah, it's 1976 wasn't the hottest year on record. It still holds the record for the highest June temperature ever recorded, but that's quite a small statistic, really, in comparison to other things, because we have 12 months of the year, and that 35.6 was nowhere near the 40.3 that we've had in July just in 2022. June, I think, was the fifth. 1976 was the fifth warmest summer on record when you go by mean temperature, but not when you go back on record. Apologies, 1976 wasn't the second warmest year on record. It wasn't even in the top 10 for the full year. It was the fifth warmest for the summer. Sorry, I got
we must have gone through so many stats because the month stats have just got out, so they're all in our brain.
The answer is 1976 wasn't the warmest on record. It wasn't even nearly the warmest on record, whether you look at the year as a whole, and even if you look at summer, it wasn't the warmest. It was the warmest if you look at maximum temperature alone, so not mean temperature, taking into account the temperatures through the day. So yeah, most of the temperatures are rising. All more recent records we're breaking are all like the highest temperature records, and we're seeing most of the records having been broken since the turn of the century. It's quite rare for a record to have stood since 1976.
Yeah, we're seeing, that's the point, I guess, isn't it? A lot of these old records, we're starting to break them, but we're not just, it's not just one extreme, we're actually seeing it year after year, starting to see these extremes in temperature, for example, and starting to break those records, all as a result of our changing climate, isn't it? So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the years to come.
Yes, and I think this year is going to come out as being a pretty hot one after the June that we've had, and with the potential of some more extreme hot weather to come later on this month. Later on this month. That works. I did have a couple of questions, but I've lost them in the chat, which is a bit annoying. But whilst I'm trying to find it, it was a busy week for Alex Deakin earlier on this week as well, because he headed to Germany for the launch of a new satellite by our partners at UMETSAT. Here's a little glimpse of what he got up to.
Welcome to Germany, where not only is it really hot, but something big is happening. I'm in Darmstadt at the headquarters of UMETSAT. UMETSAT run the weather satellite operations across Europe, and they feed the data out to the Met Office and other organisations. Satellites are so vital for weather forecasting, and the new one that's being launched today is an absolute game changer.
There is an instrument which is called the infrared sounder on board. The advantage of this instrument is that it will tell us about the likelihood of storms forming in an area where there aren't even clouds yet.
We will be able to finally see the daily cycle of pollution, seeing a rush hour, dust intrusions from Sahara, having a look at the smoke from wildfires.
Look who I found. GMB's Laura Tobin. Laura, how excited are you about the launch?
So I've never been invited to anything like this, and when UMETSAT said, do you want to come, I just thought it's a new satellite with things that have never happened before, and I just love new science.
This is a really big collaboration, important collaboration with 29 other member states from across Europe. Being part of that community really draws on the European science community, the best technology, and what a great setting today, all those member states coming together.
And come together they did, as nearly 2 decades of planning and research finally came to fruition.
So that is pretty much it here from Germany. It's 11:30 the launch was successful, but of course that's only the next phase. They've still got to get the satellite in the right orbit, they've still got to open it up gently, make sure everything's working. There'll probably be another year before we start to see any data from this satellite, another couple of years before it's fully up and running. But it's been a really great night, really great buzz around the place. Actually a little bit emotional when that rocket took off. A lot of people here have put a lot of effort and a lot of work into making that satellite function. So yeah, a huge sigh of relief. Let's say a few tears were shed as well. But it's been a great night from here in Germany, and it's goodbye from me.
Really great stuff. An important new satellite launch there by UMETSAT, and it's going to make huge improvements both to weather forecasting, climate predictions as well. So that's exciting times. If you want to know more about the satellite that was launched, do check out the UMETSAT webpage, which I think we'll put a link in the comments so that you can go to that, because it has all the details exactly what it means. I mentioned a couple of questions still coming in. One of them, just going back to what I was talking about, 1976, I got a bit confused, but the point being, well, Cry, your dad, has been in touch and asked why was 1976 so famous then? And I think it's because it stood out. I think 1975 was pretty cold, and there were a lot of markedly cooler years than 1976 around it. So people remember it was hot. It was we had heat waves. It was a long, dry, hot, very sunny summer, and so it really stood out. So that's why people remember it. I think the take home is the kind of weather that we had in 1976. We're kind of seeing almost every year now, and so that's just the sign that our climate's changed. So what was that very memorable hot, dry summer in the 70s is now the norm in this day that we live in. Another question that came in earlier from the 11th Panther is, why is it generally cooler in Cornwall compared to the rest of the south coast?
Well, I suppose that just being further west, they pick up a lot of the cloud, a lot of the frontal systems coming through, so they don't tend to get the driest of the weather if you compare it to perhaps like Sussex and Kent, where they're further east. And also I suppose they can get influenced a lot by the sea surface temperature as well, just being that slightly thinner bit of land across the west, rather than being more inland, where we can really see temperatures start to rise as a result of, you know, convection heating the land. Actually, when you're in a coastal region, you tend to get a bit more influenced by the sea surface temperatures. So.
Yeah, and so it kind of works both ways. Yes, they're cooler during the summer months, but they're actually milder, warmer during the winter months. I think the average temperature for Cornwall's a couple of degrees higher than the average temperature for like Hampshire, Dorset during the winter months. So yeah, it's all about the sea keeping things milder, because water takes more time to heat up than land. That typical question.
Good question.
I think that's everything that we wanted to go through in this Weather Studio Live. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you did well in the quiz. Honor, you impressed me. You got 3 out of 5, which is markedly higher than I was expecting you to do. What are you up to next week?
Well, I'm only working for a couple of days, then I'm off. I'm going away to Canada for 2 weeks.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah, you're not going to see my face for a while, I'm afraid.
Well, we will miss you. I'm actually heading to Civil Service Live in London next week. If you happen to be going, then do pop by the Met Office stand, hoping to be able to give people the chance to have a go at being a weather presenter themselves. That'll be definitely one to catch if you are going to Civil Service Live next week. Maybe I'll see you then. But thank you so much for watching. Keep your questions coming in. We will be answering more next week. I think it's Alex and Aidan back next Friday, and they'll be answering any. And make sure you stay up to date, the weather warning, and also the potential of some pretty high temperatures and in the back end of next week and beyond. So thanks very much.
Bye.